Welcome to the Preach to Me Financial Channel for the weekend edition, part 1. This is a brief edition. Thank you for joining me. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel for the latest interpretation of financial news. Today, we just want to briefly talk about, on this Saturday edition, the high interest rates as well as the workforce being overtaken by AI or automation. Is that growing? Is that stopping? Is that changing in the future? And how do you feel about that and the recent economic developments? So we can see that the interest rate did have come down slightly. The inflation has come down slightly from a high of 8.6 to 9% officially down to about 6.5 to 5% right now on the average. However, interest rates have been rising on all kind of loans, and economic uncertainty remains in the U.S. economy, not just in the bigger cities, but also in the smaller businesses around the world, around America, and the credit markets as well. And so high interest rates and economic uncertainty are behind the recent rise in corporate defaults. We haven't seen the fallout from the corporate defaults as well as the mortgage-backed security, some of the commercial real estate buildings that have been empty. We haven't seen the fallout from that, but we will coming this fall and winter and into next year. Corporate defaults last month rose, quote, 41 in the U.S. so far this year. That's more than double the same period last year. So we went from 21 to 41, according to Moody's Investor Service. This was a CNBC article. So companies are defaulting on their debt due to uncertain economic conditions and heavy debt loads, meaning they borrowed a whole bunch of money when it was zero interest rates for the last, 15 years have had interest rates zero. So now the interest rates are going up to a kind of a moderate to normal level. High interest rates have made it difficult to, quote, refinance as debt is more expensive. So now pretty common there. The number of bankruptcy filings in the U.S. this year have sharply risen to levels not seen since 2010. There you go again. So bankruptcies are up because people, know that they can run up a lot of cards, run up a lot of, credit, unsecured debt credit anyway, not secured debt. A lot of this is unsecured debt, so they can run up and they can file bankruptcy, either Chapter 11, 7, 13, various bankruptcies, depending on what type of debt you are trying to restructure or cancel. So the Federal Reserve plans to keep hiking interest rates to stem inflation. Remember, the goal was 2%. The target goal was 2%. We know inflation is way up there, like 16% right now. But anyway, it's going to take a series of measures here in the toolbox here, which means the increase in corporate default rates is likely coming in months. So like I said, we have this conundrum here where capital is getting more expensive now to borrow, and companies are illiquid, meaning they can't liquidate stuff to get money, as fast. Actual cash to buy back stocks and do all that stuff they were doing in the past. Bed Bath & Beyond has been on another one. This one here, a store in Williston, Vermont, closing down. They're closing down nationwide. One store that did come out, one bright spot, that store that did come out as kind of saved a little bit was Barnes & Noble. They have been streamlining their business now. They're now cutting back from building standalone Barnes & Nobles. They're now building it in like those strip malls and just cutting back, downsizing, and going more to online. So they survived sort of a cut down. So did Macy's. Macy's was another bright spot. They sort of survived. People thought they'll be delisted and everything like JCPenney, but Macy's is actually surviving. But Bed Bath & Beyond and others became casualties, if you will, ladies and gentlemen, of this corporate defaults. And they're going to be out as well as a lot of other companies. Instapot was another one that surprised me. They filed for bankruptcy, the cooking company that a lot of people like to boil stews and stuff and that. So this is all part of the plan here, the plan to slow down the recession, the depression of the U.S. economy, leading the way, as well as the European economy, the East European Central Bank, and others. And we have to really think about this, ladies and gentlemen. What are we going to do when these rates go up? Make sure we have our preps. We tell everybody to make sure they have their preps topped up as best you can. You may not have underground bunkers and all the stuff that the top 1% of people have, or a big high interest savings account full of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Listen, you don't need all of that, but you do need to have a plan. Every day that goes by, you need to have a plan to survive, because 90%, nearly 80% of women's jobs could be disrupted by AI. This is a report by CNN Business that came out. So, as you can see here, 80% of women's jobs could be disrupted by automated by AI. A lot of jobs can be automated, according to CNN Business. The labor force participation rate for women between 25 and 54 years old set a record high in April. Rebounding. This all could change, of course, with AI. Now we've got ChatGPT. The majority of the jobs could be done by, this technology, by AI, because the technology can create texts, images, videos, and code from training data that includes examples of the desired output. So now we have a situation where AI can mimic voices now. It can mimic photos, touch up photos, and with ChatGPT, everybody's figuring out every government is figuring out how can they regulate this AI so it won't become a threat or a danger to jobs and the people who could be, falsely impersonated through scams, business scams or personal scams and or otherwise. So every country is trying to figure out how can they regulate this chat GDP and other AI systems. One recent analysis estimates that 79% of working women, that's 59 million, are in occupations susceptible to disruption and automation. That's compared to 58% of working men. So women may not be, of course, they may not be in some occupations, quote unquote, paid higher than men, but they're now more susceptible to this AI taking over. Estimates quote that nearly 8 out of 10 women workers could be affected, and that's just staggering, according to Julia Pollard, chief economist with online marketplace ZipRecruiter. So now they're saying that a higher percentage of women are employed in these white-collar jobs, whereas men is a more 50-50 split. Men, we have some blue-collar jobs and different things like that we can get into. We're more diversified in our labor participation and labor participation force. But most of the AI occupations that are female employee-based are administrative support and office support, healthcare practitioners, that was surprising, and technical, education, training, and library. So, hey, none of our educators are immune from this. Healthcare support roles, and community and social services. That's what they find. So it doesn't always mean that you're going to lose your job with AI coming in, but it is going to be a disruptor. As you know, companies want to save money on healthcare. They want to save money on retirement pensions. They want to save money on grievances and lawsuits that potential other women workers and men workers could file. So all of this is priming the workforce for AI to come in and to kind of take over the leisure and hospitality, labor-intensive industries, education and health services sectors. Women make up the majority of these types of workforces, at least in the Western world, America and Europe. So job losses and a lackluster employment recovery in the childcare sector hampers workers' abilities to return to the labor market. And so now we have a bounce back. But then AI comes, and AI exposed positions with women included billing account collectors, 82.9%, payroll and timekeeping clerks, executive secretaries, word processors and typists, and bookkeeping, accounting, and auditing services. All of this is going to be automated, unfortunately, in the next 5 to 10 years, obviously. And especially the manufacturing for men. See, and with men, the manufacturing is going to be the only thing that's automated as America tries to bring back, as they say, bring back the manufacturing, which we know is going to take 10 to 15 years. But when they do, they hope to bring in more of this AI stuff. But for the woman, it's going to be more taking over the task that they, the more socially acceptable, socially oriented, analytical task and stuff like that. Hospitality, secretaries, accounting, auditing, allied health professions where they, support systems, may not necessarily be nurses, but those who help nurses, like the, OTA, occupational therapists, or, things that they're going to have robots coming in doing teledoc and all that kind of stuff. See, all of this is coming to help to replace the labor force. So two questions I have for you is, do you think that you can be replaced by a machine? Do you think that an AI can do a better job than you can, either with the human element or the emotional element, or they have the emotional intelligence or the physical intelligence to beat you out at your job? Number two, do you think that the AI is going to lead to a deeper depression because we're not going to be able to restart this labor market as fast? So let me know what you think down in the comment section as we continue. In the meantime, enjoy your weekend. Continue to prepare. Thank you for listening. I'll talk to you very soon. God bless, and God bless America.